Good evening. Welcome to the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees monthly board meeting. Today is Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, and it is 6:02. Call this meeting to order. Since we do not have any public comments, I will skip over that. Need to do roll call.
Hey, Carol.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's do roll call. I'll start. Nicole Barker, President.
Tom Ewing, Treasury Secretary.
Yep, present. Dave Munoz, Superintendent of Schools. Sorry.
John Soper.
Carol McGibney.
Jacqueline Romer.
Ellen Rohr. And our guests.
Yeah, you guys get to be on.
Daniel Levy.
And Andrea Levy.
All right, next is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda will be approved in one motion unless any board member requests that an item be removed for individual discussion. That item can be considered at an appropriate time during the board's regular order of business or under new business. So we have the minutes of the last regular board meeting and the bill approval for October 2024 in the amount of $74,786.31. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes and the billing amount.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the bill and the minutes of the last regular board meeting, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have the Latitude Cafe update with Daniel and Amber Levy.
Yes. Thank you for inviting us. We had actually the privilege to watch your last board meeting, the entire board meeting, from our living room sofa. So we kind of got the update from Jackie of where issues lies, progress, kind of looking at the financial for the first month or so. From what I understood, it's she gets a pretty thorough picture of what's going on. We're going on month 3. We are holding even on all 3 months right now. Projected right now is to get to about the same financial of month first and second one. Maybe a little bit better, but it is improving. We were able to get Jackie to help us with some exposure to the first floor after reviewing initial decisions that were done in the beginning. And she was kind enough to go downstairs with us and present what we had and agree to put it to the test and see where it goes. And it's like, it seems to, actually from the first initial time that we presented those aids to the first floor to direct people to the top to kind of introduce them to Latitude, really people that weren't introduced to the conversation from the beginning, the walkers, the newcomers, you know, people that do not expect to walk to a library and says, oh, there is a coffee shop. You know, if they're hanging in the first floor, there is really nothing to connect it except the sign that we designated in the beginning. So we have better exposure right now, and I think we also saw improvement, at least I would say 10 to 15% in response of people that are actually recognizing that this is what directed them up. So we're hoping that that will continue on. We're also gonna use that vehicle to introduce to specialty drinks, fall, summer, you know, same kind of medium, but not more of it, just replacing it. Also, all the time directing to the second floor, but introducing a new message. Come and check out the fall drinks, come check out the winter drinks, whatever. So for the holidays, etc. So that's being ordered, and we're gonna upgrade to that again and just make it fun. Almost like a storefront, what's new and exciting, specials, etc. So that's where we at. So financials tracking the same, maybe a little bit better, I think. People, we have the regulars that shows up on a daily basis and, that bring more people with them and spread the news. And, it's really, that's where we are. We're trying different products. We're a little bit different than what Germantown offers, not food-wise. I'm talking about almost everything, even if it's the desserts and stuff like this. Menomonee Falls has a different flavor, stuff that never, in 6 years of us trying in Germantown, never took off as a niche in this one. So we're not trying to fight it. We're trying to find the
Embrace
niche.
it.
Yeah, we're trying to find the niche. It's a different community, although 5 minutes away, and they're just like other things that for some reason works here, but will never work there. We have an emphasis for, Carol was talking in the beginning about healthy options and stuff like this. So we try to introduce them, see if it works. We tried salads, like little Caesar salads with some chicken stuff. Things that are available quick that people can grab, not a big mess. You can't make a lot of mess with lettuce, but just trying to introduce some stuff that gives them more options than a chocolate chip cookie. Working within the limitation of the space and the equipment and health department regulation and trying to improve on the air quality.
Yes.
And the second floor, offering more options than just one. We saw you guys discussing bacon at the time. So we brought in turkey, we brought in ham, cold cuts that do not produce those things. Bacon did not disappear, but there is more options, so by default it used less. Because we got a pushback when we made it disappear for 2 weeks. It's like, why did you took our bacon? Well, we didn't really want to have that conversation. It's like, we'll bring it to those 2 people, but by default, we have 3 kinds of options for them, still working with our limited space. And if somebody really insists on it, they get it. But, we are saturating it with more options, so there will be less exposure to that.
Oh, I hadn't even realized you brought it back. So after the last board meeting, we met and they had decided to take bacon off the menu because of the scent issues. And I mean, that worked for our issues. So I didn't even know that you brought it back. So your new menu items must be working. They must be.
Right. We are
People must love the.
we're encouraging people to have other choices.
Yeah.
Giving them more than just the one thing and that's it.
Yeah.
Because, when you offer that one thing every time you wanted the meat included option in your breakfast sandwich, etc., it will always be bacon. You couldn't choose.
Well, I haven't heard anything negative about the smells on the second floor, so thank you. They've been very, very accommodating with us when we bring concerns to them, so thank you very much to you guys for doing that. We appreciate it a lot.
Seen a little bit increase of traffic. I would assume it's because you closed your first floor for the most part. So a lot of people are.
You're welcome. No, just kidding.
So it's good, It's not going to be sustainable, obviously, because you're going to reopen your floor at some point. But yeah, there is a little bit more interest and more traffic by default because people are trying to find a place to hang out, and it's not the first floor for the most part. So that's good and good for us. And that's it. That's really the update of Latitude. I mean, we kind of leveled off with overwhelming the system with requesting more backgrounds and stuff like this because we have a nice pool that is working. It's kind of leveled off and people are still around. The only reason that we'll see us coming back to the system is somebody's leaving or we're introducing new people that they would have the interest to only do Menomonee Falls, because they're resident of Menomonee Falls, because it's closer to them, because the schedule works better for them. So obviously we cannot tell them it's not available. We rather have somebody that is working somewhere than nowhere, with the hardship of finding good employment. So we always trying to accommodate for it. And if it's, I'd rather work in the library because my son is going to the school nearby, so yeah, why not? But again, we're not saturating there is 10 applicants. It's maybe one, maybe two.
Yeah.
It's all leveled down. So we try not to be a burden on that. We had some, just issues with some understanding the space using the wrong doors, etc.
Oh, yeah.
With new employees, we push against that. We try to retrain, reiterate, send messages on our group chats that we have for all employees to make sure that we are good stewards of the space.
Oh, yeah, it's a big building too. We don't
Oh.
expect everybody to get
Right.
to know it right away. That's all right.
And that's it. All the facilities working. We had no big issues for really anything. Plumbing is working good, electric is working good. All the little issues that we had in the beginning disappeared. We did saturate the second floor with, I think Jackie mentioned it, with water sensors, water leak sensors. They use them for basements and stuff like this. So underneath the front and the rear counter and the crossway where plumbing and electric going through, it's connected to two components. We put about 7 sensors all along wherever plumbing runs and wherever there is faucets and wherever there is discharge of anything. So if for any reason something happens, we'll get alerted right away that there is more than, a dime size little pool underneath that sensor. Because they're sitting on the ground, as soon as water touches them, they alert us on our phones. So, and we have access obviously to the 24/7, so it will be easy to come and at least shut off a valve or do something and not create a big mess the next day
Right.
to come into it. So since we are in a second floor and water tends to gravitate downward if there is any. That's it. That's our updates. If you have anything else. We're hoping for increase obviously. Right now we're at about 30% of the 100% we want to see. It can be always over 100%, for us to 35, maybe 40, but there is room for growth and we're expecting it to start slow and increase, but we're seeing the growth. We're seeing the push, we're seeing the more transaction, we're seeing the more regulars, we're seeing the more traffic. It's, our graphs telling us, and compare it to the week before and the month before, and now we have 2 months to compare it to, so it's trending upward and that's what we want to look for. Yes, Latitude Germantown is still supporting this space, for labor cost and all of that, but that's not your problem. That's we factored that into play when we started this venture, but the trend is like we are making small adjustment upward, not downward. And that's mean that the community is responding, tweaking the products, tweaking their needs, listening to the customers, removing, bringing back whatever doesn't work, obviously gets off because there's no room for clutter. We need to put something new that works, that brings more revenue, that brings more response, that everybody likes and wants to come back for, and in turn turns into the 10% promise back to the library. So trying to get, the police department involved, we get the village involved, we get a lot of traffic from there starting. Today they ordered their first Bolt coffee.
Oh, that was us.
That was you?
That was,
All
I
right.
gave it to the construction workers. Yeah,
All
they were
right.
so excited.
Well, thank you. So there is things that happening that, always first. And it's good because we're seeing that the place is starting to utilize its capacity and able to provide what it's built for. And I would say that the space itself right now pushing maybe 35–40% of its capacity to serve. So it's still not being utilized for its full potential. We have obviously enough people. They're already used to the space. They're used to the flow. They're used to the customers. We have a couple of shifts. Trying to involve the high schoolers. We started hiring also from Menomonee Falls. There is a response for that. From students. So it's good. It works all around. We trusting that that the community will get more involved in this space and not just see us as Latitude Germantown, that there is the Latitude Falls, and they want to be involved in that. That's it. Any questions?
I know we've tried to use the space and it's been great a couple different times for some set meetings that we would usually use in some other areas. We've also done catering locally, which has gone really well, where we would usually maybe do something else or go somewhere else. So it was great in all respects. So I know we have another event that I need to get on the books for January.
Anytime.
That we're gonna actually try to do here. If space is available in one of the rooms with some of our off-site professional development trainers, since we have coffee right here and other things. But it's been great for us, and I think it's good for meetings. That extra space in the back is kind of like a hidden gem. That whole space in the back is, I know a lot of my staff who have used it even separate from me coming with them have commented about that space, and even having some meetings back there.
Right.
In the space by the windows, or
Right, the patio.
yeah, the patio. Yeah, sorry.
No.
That's a really nice space that I think that that you don't know about until you walk all the way through. You're like, wow, this is
Right.
amazing. So
And for many years, that was a very underutilized area. People, it has never been used to the level that it's been used since Latitude opened up. So that's amazing. And something that happened that I think is really interesting is throughout this entire process, this entire endeavor, we've always been talking about what is the benefit going to be to the library? Because obviously that's very important. We want Latitude to succeed. We want the library to succeed. And we have program surveys that we send to people after events. And we had one for a program in the makerspace, and it was a rave review of their time in the makerspace. And they said, yeah, I went up to Latitude to get a coffee, and I saw this makerspace, and I've learned more about it, and I signed up for a program, and now I love it. So, so your coffee shop being here has helped the library gain attraction to our programs and our offerings and our services. So I think that's really exciting. That was awesome.
And I think it's good for the community, especially those that are listening, that supporting Latitudes here is supporting the library.
Yes.
I mean, there's money that's coming back to the library, which we can see in our packets today. So if you're questioning, oh, should I get a coffee from Latitude? Yeah, if you like supporting the library, absolutely do, because they're supporting the library every month. So that would be my advocation for people that are here. I know I do when I can, and because I know there's money coming back here to the library. We're looking at it today. I know it's in our packets. So
Yeah, it's exciting, I mean, it's actually, I look forward to the end of the month, and we always trying to, it's like, it has to be better this month because we want to show growth. We want to show that this thing is actually benefiting the library, and we're just not just squatting in a space, So it's really, it's exciting to see that there is a direct response to what's the community contribute to Latitude that contributed back to the library, kind of full circle, so it's not, and, outside of the space that we live in or confined into, I think the library staff, the library Jackie, and, they went above and beyond of making the surrounding spaces kind of accommodate people to want to come there and hang out and sit and be comfortable. they kind of turned it into this, you know, the second floor is like, I've got the customers that coming from Germantown or lived in Menomonee Falls and went to Germantown all the time. And then all of a sudden they discover those rooms, those private rooms and stuff. And all of a sudden they're showing up. We come to the library and they're hanging out and they're having meetings. So there is obviously a response to them discovering not just Latitude, they're discovering what the Menomonee Falls Library has to offer as amenities that they were not aware of. Oh, did they have those rooms? We never knew. Oh, it's so cool, you know. They can come in and have their whatever studies meeting and stuff. So it works for them.
There's quite a few Germantown
Yeah.
customers that have been with us for 6 years that tell us daily, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be at, you know, Menomonee Falls because of the meetings and all of that stuff. So they're really getting utilized
Yeah.
at both spots, and yeah, so it's good.
So,
That cross traction is great. I have a question, but it more is kind of for you, Jackie. And what is your staff's comfort level in promoting the coffee shop? And I'll give you an example. So say that a patron for the library comes in with a Starbucks cup. Would somebody from your staff feel comfortable going, hey, I see you have Starbucks there. I just wanted you to know that we actually have Latitude upstairs too, in case, or just something not non-threatening, not salesy or anything like that, but
Right.
just saying, because, you know, at the end of the day, they benefit from us, you know, being
Right.
able to have a little bit more too. So how comfortable are they with that?
We've definitely had those conversations, and I've seen staff having those conversations, but it typically comes up organically during a conversation that's already taking place.
Yep.
I think as librarians, we give everything away for free, right? So we're not salespeople, so,
Oh.
you know, like walking up to people and being like, hey, can I interest you in this coffee?
Right.
Doesn't come naturally to librarians, because we're all about giving things away for free. But definitely, if someone's having a conversation with a staff member and, you know, maybe they're holding a coffee, or they're like, gosh, I wish, you know, I could get something other than the vending
Yeah.
machine. We're like, hey, it's right there. And then they get really excited about it. So, and I think the patrons are also having those conversations with each other.
Oh, cool.
Like the story time parents, you know, you kind of see a trend of a group of them kind of walking up together after story time. So I think they're kind of spreading the word amongst themselves as well, definitely.
And it's a process, and it takes a little bit to get off the ground.
Yeah.
And for your staff, it takes a little bit of that comfort level of, to your point, you guys aren't in
It's
sales.
new to us,
You
yes.
know, so like those types of conversations, they're not easy one. But, you know, that might be something just to kind of keep an eye on, and
Yeah.
you know, you already are, but just something as moving forward, like, hey, that might have been a good spot to say, hey, did you know we have coffee upstairs?
Right. And we've definitely tried to include it in our marketing in clever ways. So we have coffee mugs in our bonfire store now that support the Friends. So our staff made posters that said, hey, are you enjoying your coffee break at, you know, at the library? Check out our coffee mugs for sale. So just trying to like make it feel very cohesive with all of our other offerings as much as possible. And I think next year, our staff may be reaching out to you to see if we can do some kind of collaborations on programming and things like that as well.
Oh, I think that would be
Kind
phenomenal.
of like a
yeah.
like a
Coffee and donuts
coffee
type
paint
thing?
and sip, coffee and
Yeah.
donuts, you know,
Like
that
the
sort of
documentaries
thing.
that you guys were doing for a while?
Yeah, just to have people who are coming in the building be like, wow, this is great coffee, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like a little sample. So we have some ideas kind of in the back of our minds for next year for some collaborations.
Awesome. Yeah, just, you know, I always think just because those signs are only going so far, but.
People
you know,
only
as-
read so many signs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's always just that great little push. So
Yeah.
That's good to hear that your staff is starting to really come up with some good collaborative
Yeah.
ideas too, to promote from both sides, because, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted you guys to get settled in for a little bit before we're like,
yeah. I mean,
let's collaborate on programs.
the staff and the library and Jackie, you know, allows us, you know, in a passive way to saturate the library in a tasteful way. Not really, you know, we did like those table tents that's sitting in every study room or whatever, you know. You don't have to tell them, don't buy Starbucks or don't bring your Starbucks. But when they even come and sit in the room and they stare at it half a day, and it's like, oh, I'm hungry. Then they think that they get their experience, maybe first or second, you know, and maybe we convince them that we're a better option. So, but we are in the first floor, we are in the second floor, we are in almost every study room, on almost every desk, you know, as much as we, you know, tastefully be able to do that. You know, they're also promoting with their aides. So we are kind of doing it, but we're not like in your face. We'll let you make that choice.
Yeah.
And that's really the space calls for it, because that's how it's a public library. You can't make anybody do anything they don't want to, you know, as long as they follow the rules, you know, decorum and whatever. But, you know, they're giving them option, allowing us to spread outside of the 315 square feet space. Yeah, that's allowed and it's appreciated and it helps, and you can tell people making calls and they're putting online orders, and that is a response of those aides sitting around and kind of telling the story without, you know, talking to you.
Without it being,
Right.
yeah.
So it's going to take a little bit of time. I think
Yeah.
it will catch. It's like waiting for a fish to come to a hook, you know, with the right bait or with the right ability to introduce who you are, you know, and you just got to be patient. The process is patient, and it's, you know, got to tell them and who we are. They come and try it again, and if they like it, they'll come back on their own. And if they don't, that's okay. Then we done something wrong, we got to fix it, you know, and it's just the process, you know. Not everybody likes everything, especially when it comes to food and drinks.
Daniel, can you remind me, the patio is beautiful, and I love the patio. Is it usable during the winter time? Is it heated over there?
No, it's not. It's something me and Jackie and Amber revisit. We decided to rest on it for the first season.
Sure.
We have some options that Latitude wanted to invest in that we introduced to Jackie. And we decided to pass through this winter time. You know, we have a lot of response from customers. Says, is this going to ever be heated? Is this going to be able to use in the winter? We want to be here, but it's too cold. And you can tell when it's get cold, they open the door, they put their nose out. It's like too cold, going back in. But it's okay, because I want to tell them, you know, the library is kind enough to make the space available on both ends, on the patio side and on the inside side. So it's not a bad thing. It's not that they're not going to have to bundle up to drink their coffee. They have an option. It's a beautiful library on the other side of the glass.
Correct.
You know, but I don't think they can connect yet, and that's really where we are struggling. That's connection that it's okay. Again, we did the decorum and the parameters and the respect to the space. But until now, 3 months, almost, you know, 3 months later, is that we didn't have big issues. You know, did you see any big issues with
No.
people are, you know, they're not mistreating this place, they're not leaving their garbage behind?
No, you wouldn't be able to, we have not noticed a difference
No.
at all. I know that was a big hot topic, was the garbage and the coffee spills
And we
it's
are
been
geared to it.
Same, like as it,
Yeah, we are geared to it. We have everything in solutions, you know, from everything we promised at the beginning to have. You know, our staff is, regardless that it's the library patio, it's not ours, it's theirs. We are using it to make it nicer to give more options to the customers and the library parishioner that comes through during the 3 seasons that they are available to use. So we made it a lot nicer than what it used, and people are responding to it. But, you know, we're putting our staff responsible for the space, so they will go in the morning and clean all the tables, they will vacuum in the afternoon, they will empty the trash. They will be responsible with it like it was a Latitude space that needs to, you know, to treat it the same as we treat our inside space. So, and I'm pushing against that when I said I never wanted to look like, you know, I know that the first staffer that goes into that space is the library staffer, and the last staffer that gets into that space before they lock the door is the library staffer. And I never want them to walk in and feel this is not good. This is, not presentful, it's dirty, it's junky. This is not gonna be what we can't. This is gonna be attended like our own space, and to make sure that the library understand that we're respectful of the space that they allow us to use.
And I appreciate that, because I was one of
So-
the voices that was concerned about that, so I do appreciate that. And also about the patio, I respect your decision to wait and find out what works the best for the
Right.
library and for you as well. So I didn't mean to insinuate that I want that patio heated, because that's not important unless it works for all of you, so.
No, I think it's a good idea. I think, all the stuff that we introduced is not new. It's been used for at least the last 20 years in other restaurants and other coffee shops and everything else. It's just implementing it, and there is a time and a place for it.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, and I really was not excited to start it right entering into winter, because nobody wants to deal with that, because it's another improvement that will take a little bit time, and if we bring the crew and scheduling and materials and all of that, so it has a time and place. I big champion for it. I will like to bring it in front of Jackie and the library for next year board as an option, but start the process earlier, so when we enter winter, we are not, is it done, is it not? It's going to be ready, geared, and people can transition right away into that space without feeling an interruption.
I respect
No,
that, thanks
so-
very much.
That's it.
Can I ask what the options were that you had presented?
There were PVC outdoor curtains, clear. I know that we had a conversation about opaque. I just put an order just to show you what it will cost. I didn't really choose a color, but there are outdoor PVC curtains that you will see in restaurant patios that are on tracks. They're like curtains. So in the summer, they got all retract all to the sides, nooks that on both sides of the space. And in the winter, they just roll in and they zip down. They're weighted and tucked behind the floor, the first floor and the second floor, because there is a space. And that's it. And they are UV protected and all of that, so they don't change, fade, or anything like this. It's about an $8,000 investment on our end, if we choose to do that, for the materials and the company to come to install it. And that's it. I mean, it's available. It's been tested downtown. It's been tested in a lot of places that have outdoor patios with harsh winters that they want to utilize them too, especially when COVID was around and everything. People got really creative with that. So it's available. It's there. We're willing to put the investment, but we are patient. We didn't maximize latitude inside to think about what we're doing outside. And I think the customers are expecting it. And if we're going to build a bigger pool of customers coming through the next season, it will be a nice place to release the pressure off the main space, because they like to be a little bit louder and a little bit, they're coming there for the conversation more than just hang out with a book. They can do it on the other side of the glass, and it's just as comfortable. But the chattiness, the kids running around.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea. I think what they presented is a really good idea. It's essentially a clear curtain to
Yes.
put on the screen that will keep it warm inside.
Right.
There were a few things that I was hesitant about. The one is the screening that's up there. Years ago on the library board, 2018, there was conversation about having to get those screens replaced or refinished because the paint is coming off of them on the outside and in certain places in the inside. And at the time, that was like a $28,000 project, and there was only one vendor who could do it in Wausau. So I haven't had a chance to look into seeing what that looks like, because ideally, I'd like to get that taken care of before they put in theirs, if it's gonna be a matter of having to take the screens out and things like that. And I think the other concern I had with the one product that you sent me, which maybe there is another one, was that it couldn't handle temperatures below 10 degrees. So it could like crackle and plastic would disintegrate. So I didn't want them to invest in something that's gonna be a hassle in the future because of our screening or because of temperature. So I suggested, and they agreed, that we give it a winter to see what the traffic is. Is there gonna be a lot of people who are really looking for somewhere to sit? Is the new indoor seating area that we created going to be enough? And just take some more time to look into that. It sounds like from what I'm hearing that your customers really want that space to be available. I mean, I'm all for adding usable square footage year round for library patrons. So I'm definitely interested in looking into that further. I think that's a great topic to kind of look at for tackling next winter. I think that would be great.
I was actually, well, because I know I've said this before about us enclosing that, so to be more of like a 3-season type porch or whatever, that like in the summertime we can open it up, but in the wintertime have it kind of more closed.
And that's another option too, is looking into that screening and seeing what the possibilities are in terms of, is there something that can be done to the screens themselves other than adding that to make it into a usable space? I'm sure there are.
Right, because I'm thinking too, like, in the space below, the kids like to go out there and play.
Yeah.
You know, and you had like games and stuff out there for the summer, and my kids loved going out there.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that it's one big screen.
Yes.
So it's not like the second floor patio is separated from the first floor.
Right.
So that, I think, complicates it a little bit. But I mean, we can certainly explore the options with that, and try to get some vendors out here to see what they could do, so.
I mean, yeah, the space is beautiful. It's been discovered, obviously, we talked
Yes.
about it. So, I mean, it's being utilized in the 3 seasons that we went through. Not 3 seasons, we went through summer and a little bit of fall, so 2 seasons. And the response is great, so, you know, it took, as Jackie said, people used it more than ever been used in its past. So it will be, it's there, it's already built, it's part of, it's not an investment for the library to build an extra square footage, it's already available. The question is, do people want to use that square footage? And give them a reason to maintain that new discovered area. They're excited about it, so let's make it more usable. Again, if it's, and it will never be like, you know, the inside space of the library, temperature-wise or comfortable-wise or anything like this. It will be still an outdoor space, maybe with a comfortable 45, 50 degrees, even if it's screened, because it's still outside. You know, it's not gonna ever grow to, oh, it's 80 degrees in here, let's be in without a t-shirt. That's not. You'll still have to wear your coat, but it's not gonna be windy and unbearable and snow blowing into it and all of that. It's gonna feel comfortable, you know, too, like you would sit outside and drink your hot chocolate and, you know, whatever. So, but people out enjoy the open space in the summer, you know, the rustling of the wind, and even your water treatment cooling sounds like a waterfall outside. People love that, you know. Literally, that cooler that's sitting right across of that space sounds like a waterfall all summer long, you know. So, you know, when it's going, you know, so.
I was wondering what that was. It's not mine, it's the village, but.
Right, so, you know, there is unintended consequence of, you know, other mechanicals around this building that creating that ambience. There is a lot of beautiful trees. It's a nice space, you know, that it's not like all brick and mortars and building. It's actually a nice inside courtyard that people paid attention to the landscaping and everything else, which is visible from that second floor. You know, and adding birds and adding the waterfall and all of that. It's a nice place, you know. So.
Is there anything that you would like us to do more of that we can help you with?
No, I don't think, you know, we shouldn't, you know, we have to earn the trust of the people that we work with, be steward with the space, you know. I like to have the same response back, you know. We are not here we're never intentionally coming here any day to take away from this building or to hurt its reputations or to create an unintended consequence of that this is, Latitude was disrespecting this, or the employees, the individual, or the entity itself. So, and it's, we are strangers in this building, still are, and we need to build that relationship, that's all, with the board, with the library staff that we see every day on an individual case and as a corporate, and they're all really accommodating and responsive and answer questions and smile and greet us, and we do try to do the same, understanding that, there are people from all walks in life, and so we are, and we're coming from another space to this space, and nobody's seen it happening before, and they're a little bit suspicious and a little bit leery, and it's okay, because again, it's your baby, and you've been taking care of it for 20 years, and you let somebody walk in with the keys to the place. We walk here at night and we meet all the ghosts.
There are,
Yeah.
We
We were.
Say hi to Maud first.
We were servicing
Maud watches over it.
the espresso machine on Sunday, which is the one day that it's a downtime for us. But it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's already dark, and there is not a single light between the elevator and our space that is really on. So it's kind of, it's interesting walking to the
There's
library when it's so
noises.
dark.
There's noises, aren't there? When you're in this building after hours?
But it's also creepy when the building's silent. So.
Yeah.
But it's again, we have to first build the trust, reputation, decorum, respect to the space, and make sure that we are over-intentional in everything we do to show that we're not here to change anything, just to improve on it. That's it. And I think in response, it will get loosen more the relationship of, of give and take and abilities to be part of the building, not a bubble in the building. So, so that we are another service, but we are not our own island. We don't want to be our own island. We want to use the space as a whole to improve on the space. So that's it.
Any other questions? No? Anything else that you guys have to comment on or questions or anything? All right.
No.
I'm glad that you guys were able to come tonight. It's, important to us that we have a good relationship with you guys, and that you guys can, come to us if you need anything. And I know Jackie has been working with you guys very closely, and I've heard good things, so I hope that continues. And if you guys do need anything, that you reach out, and you guys are more than welcome to come to the meetings and give us an update anytime you want to.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. It's important that you guys hear what we're doing. More than just Jackie, and I'm sure she relates all that information.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys can invite us for an update whenever you guys want to. And if we have concerns or requests or anything else, we can bring it through Jackie first, and she can come to you, and we can talk about it too in here, and so the community as a whole will hear what's going on and doesn't think that things happen behind closed doors in Jackie's office only. That if we have a request or concern or just saying thank you, that they know that we are thanking the community for that opportunity, because again, this is a community effort. It's not just our effort. Nothing would happen if the community did not respond through the representative, to what's going on right now. So far it's a positive experience, at least for us. And that's it. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time.
All right, so next we have the committee reports. For the policy review committee, we are not meeting again until January. We're actually ahead on the reviews for the policies. So then we would have special events, outreach and fundraising committee, which Matt's not here tonight. I don't know if you have an update.
Yes, so I met with Matthew and we talked about kind of what do we need to start focusing on in terms of large-scale fundraising. So we came up with a general plan and actually a really good opportunity for collaboration with the Friends, for reaching out to some of the local businesses, but also corporate sponsors in terms of some of the large-scale wish list items that we hope to have in the future. So as we're talking about, as children's renovation finishes up, we're talking about moving to the first floor. So what does that look like? So I have a bit of a to-do list, and I'm gonna bring that back to Matthew and the Friends. Matthew's gonna start collaborating a little bit with the Friends, and then we'll be able to really start gearing up with the special events fundraising and outreach committee and getting a plan of action moving forward. So he's really excited about the collaboration between the Friends because there's strength in numbers, and it's also good in terms of fundraising to have a government entity, but also a 501c3 nonprofit working together. So he has a really good eye for these things and a really good plan. So stay tuned for a meeting with Matthew. I think he wants to schedule that probably in the new year.
Okay.
The plan is written, or is it just sort of?
It's all up here as of right now.
I'd like to see if it was written, but I figured it probably wasn't yet.
Not yet.
That's fine.
I figured he'd be very good with that because that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
All right, so new business, we have the 2025 library budget update.
So as I did send you all an email Monday night, so at the village board meeting Monday night, the library's levy as requested, the voted on library board levy was approved by the village board, so that's excellent news, really, really wonderful. I think we had some really fruitful budget workshops where I was able to answer a lot of questions that the village board had, kind of talk through some of those more difficult funding methods within Waukesha County with the Waukesha County standards, those minimums to exempt. So we talked a lot about that. I explained a great deal about the building updates that need to be done and what that's going to entail, and that yes, in the next few years, you're probably going to see us asking for more funding for these things, but that should even out. It comes in waves, right? Like every 20 years, get ready for it because that's the time is now for these things. I did encourage you to watch the recording if you weren't able to attend. There were 2 motions on the table to decrease the library's levy. The first was by $250,000 and the second was by $175,800. Both of those did fail. But moving forward, Ellen and I are not ones to wait until the last minute with the budget. So we're gonna start, it's November and we're working on 2026 because we wanna come to you with some good plans to be financially respectful to the village, to be financially conservative, but still provide amazing service to the residents of Menomonee Falls. And it's really interesting. A lot of the talk has been around the 1 cent increase to the property taxes because of the increase to the library's funding next year. So that is true. Because of the increases that we need in order to operate next year, it would be a 1 cent increase to the taxpayers per $1,000 of their assessed value of their home. So currently, in 2024, the tax rate is 0.27. So that means that if you have a $350,000 home in Menomonee Falls, you would pay $94.50 a year of your taxes to go towards funding the library. Which if you take into consideration the thousands of dollars you can save by using the library, the free resources we have, and if you're taking advantage of the library, that really is a deal in terms of how you can save money. With that 1 cent increase, so in 2025, the tax rate would be 0.28 for the library. So that would increase from $94.50 a year that people are paying to $98 a year. So it's an increase of $3.50 annually for a taxpayer with a $350,000 home.
Listening to the village, I get the sense that this is going to be something that they're going to be revisiting next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that you and Ellen are looking at ways that we can be good stewards of our taxpayer money now so that we are prepared for any conversation that should come up in the next year. So I appreciate that.
Is there any, like big equipment or anything that you're anticipating, like needing repair or
So
end of life?
around this time as well is when the village manager and I have said that we're gonna start looking into that plan for the building repairs and the things that are going to need to be replaced, repaired, maintained. We're talking elevators, we're talking boilers, HVAC. We've got big equipment that we really need to start planning for. So at this time, I don't know, but I would anticipate it. So that's something that we're gonna start working on. And it's actually gonna be village-wide. Every village-owned building is going to go through this plan, but I'm volunteering the library to be kind of like the first one, because I wanna know. I wanna know what we have coming up, but, we definitely need to get that plan in place. We need to know what the end of life is for our equipment, what big replacements we have coming up. And then I'd also like to work with the director of finance to really talk about, okay, so let's say we do need to get a new elevator in 10 years. What does that look like in terms of planning financially for that throughout the upcoming years? So having a lot of those conversations. By the 2026 budget, I want to have that plan completed. A lot of it depends on working with the village. This is the village's building, so as gung-ho as I am, and we are, there's only so much we can do. So we really need to work with the village on that, but I do anticipate there being some additional increases in the facilities itself, but also the upgrades that we would like to do in terms of taking care of the building, additional new flooring, new wall coverings, just things that need to be replaced that aren't, something that's operating the entire building. So it's balancing that, it's figuring out what is a fundraising initiative, what is coming from our budget, and what is a capital initiative from the village. So, and figuring out how those all talk to each other.
I'd be interested in knowing the life of our elevator and where we are with the HVAC and all of those things. Just as a board member, what is the age expectancy of these things, and are we concerned about that?
Yes, we are concerned. Yes, we are. From my conversations with, like the elevator people who come in to repair our elevator, there are concerns, and we're seeing those concerns. And whenever the HVAC goes down, that's always like a huge concern. So yes, there are concerns, and I want to get ahead of it, and I want to be prepared. So maybe we can look at replacement plans in advance before the elevator actually dies forever, getting that going.
I actually see it lasting another 10 years.
I try to be optimistic, Nicole.
I would just like to interject that I think it is important that we get a 5 and 10 year facilities maintenance plan in
Agreed.
place. I'm surprised but not surprised from my experience of working with groups like this that there isn't actual written facility outreach as far as what we need to budget for. So I am glad that is something that you will be able to provide to us by mid-year next year so we can use it in our planning. So thank you. That's good.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So congratulations, your board approved, budget passed. Good
I
news.
was curious, I did want to ask a little bit on that. So what were the expectations with those cuts? What did they see? Did they have specifics that they were citing, or they just want to see us cut $250,000?
A lot of it had to do with, and I don't want to speak for the trustees, but my understanding is that a lot of it had to do with the overall 7-cent tax increase for the entire village. And that, of course, was not all the library. The 1 cent was the library. But just kind of the sticker shock of that, and the idea that maybe possibly that could be, a large portion of that could be cut from the library. There were specific collections mentioned in terms of things that we purchase. Maybe we don't need to be purchasing blockbuster DVDs and Hollywood DVDs and things like that. And I don't want to speak for any of the trustees, but that was my quick synopsis of it. Is
Yeah, I
really
got my tax bill, and I was a little bit wondering, and so yeah, I could see, but I was curious what they had in mind, and they were, from your perception of what happened there, you're saying that they wanted to figure out a way to make it less of a shock by cutting what we're doing here, and if they had any ideas or suggestions, I think as a board, I'd like to hear what they were thinking as far as suggestions, though it didn't pass. If they had thoughts on what they're thinking that we are spending too much on, I may not agree with it, but I would like to
Sure.
at least hear what they feel is their thoughts on that. So if there's any way we can get that, and maybe Ann can bring that to the next one, I don't know.
And President Wells did bring up that he was concerned about what that would mean for the library. So a cut that magnitude, what would that mean for the personnel? What would that mean for the services? And certain reactions were, well, that's up to the library board to kind of figure out and problem solve. Like, it's not up to them to determine, we think you should cut this budget line, this budget line, this budget line, but up to them to set the overall levy. And I don't want to, I don't want to paraphrase too much or speak
No,
out
that's
of turn,
fine.
but that was my understanding. Of course, the recording is available online, so I would encourage you to watch it so that I don't completely misconstrue the intentions of the trustees.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
I will say I'm super grateful to the village board for recognizing the work that we're doing and recognizing the needs that we have with a building of this age, with inflation, with the cost of living adjustments and keeping staff. I'm really, really happy that they recognize that. And I'm really excited that we're able to get those cost of living adjustments for the librarians into this next year's budget. That's gonna make a big difference to morale, retention, overall well-being. I think that's gonna be amazing, so.
Yeah, I mean, when you put into perspective, you know, what our rate of pay is as compared to even just Brookfield, who's
Yeah.
our neighbor, you know, that's a big difference. And we want to have good talent and good
Yeah.
people that want to come to work. And I think that that's very important, that we keep our pay competitive.
Absolutely. And Menomonee Falls deserves the best of the best, right? That's what we're always striving for, the best of the best with library services, doing the most we can for the residents. And I think this will just solidify that we value the talent we have here who are doing these things. So overall, amazing budget season.
Perfect. I'm glad to hear that it passed, even despite some hiccups for a second. All right, so next we have discuss and consider for approval 2025 annual addendum to the Bridges Library System Member Library and Cafe Agreements.
So what this is, and I gave, this was Carol's idea a couple of years ago, was to get, a great idea, was to give a comparison of the different charges that we receive from bridges each year and what we're expected to pay in 2025. So you can see what we are being paid in 2025, reimbursement within Waukesha County for in-county use of the library. So that's those people who live in Waukesha County in municipalities that do not have a library of their own using our library and getting the reimbursement through the county library taxes. You can see that's going up to almost $39,000 that we're going to be receiving from Waukesha County in 2025. There's also an agreement with Prairie Lakes Library System, which is Racine and Walworth County. So you can see the circulations that we get from people who live in those counties. We're gonna get $397 next year for circulations to those folks. Bridges is going to be decreasing the amount that they give us for Hoopla next year, almost in half. And the reason is they're putting more money to Overdrive for that on-demand content in the Advantage program and the Lucky Day program. And since we decreased the checkouts on Hoopla from 4 to 2, that grant that they give us to help offset the cost, that one is decreasing. But we are getting additional e-content through Overdrive with Bridges. And then you can see the charges that we have that are paid for by the library each year. You can see there's a couple different costs, databases, so that's things like Udemy, things like all of the databases that you have access to, such as Morningstar Investment Research. That's our portion of what we pay throughout Bridges. Ancestry is another one. The movie license, that's a bulk purchase with Bridges so that we can show movies here at the library. Digital magazines, that service was canceled in 2023, so there's no charge for that. The Wisconsin Library Digital Content, that is Libby. And then the Advantage program is content for Bridges Library System members only. So those extra copies of hot ticket books and audiobooks on Libby and what we're paying towards that. Gale courses, nothing. The service was canceled in 2023 and we went with Udemy instead, which falls under databases. And then the cafe fee. So that cafe fee is to be part of the consortium. So that includes the catalog, that includes delivery and all of the various services that go along with resource sharing throughout Bridges Library System.
So it almost looks like the reimbursement basically cancels out the fee.
Yeah, it really does, yes. We're getting a really good deal by being part of Bridges. It would be probably impossible to have our own catalog, have to interlibrary loan everything that's not in our library. And we did do that, what was it, 12 years ago? Oh, sorry.
Motion to approve
Sorry, David.
a motion to approve the addendum as presented.
Seconded.
Motion to approve. And seconded. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Sorry. No?
Ms. Soper?
I was just moving my glasses.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
No, you're good.
So in all, I guess, so in all, I will then say something. So in all, we're paying out, I guess that balances out the cafe fee from the Waukesha County and then the e-content grant. So all in all, at this point in time, roughly what? 12,000 that we're spending
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just about.
for digital content per year.
Yes, yes.
What's the business?
But the grant, the Hoopla grant, that money does count towards, like, the Hoopla grant, that counts towards our spending for the Waukesha County standards.
Right, so I was like the 38 plus the 4 plus the
Mhm.
3 minus the others, around 12. I might be over, but
No, that's about right,
Oh.
yes.
okay, makes sense. had a
Any other
chance to really
questions?
delve into the specifics, but that looks good.
All right. All in favor of approving the 2025 annual addendum to the Bridges Library System Member Library and Cafe Agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
I did have a logistical question. It's not related to passing it, because I think, well, this takes effect January 1, is
Yes.
that right? And then it just goes each calendar year?
Yep.
Cool,
Yep.
thanks.
Next, we have discuss and consider for approval 2025 closed dates.
Motion to approve the close dates as presented.
Second.
Motion to approve and seconded. Any discussion? That would be you.
These are the dates we'd like to be closed. We have one, the only special one is the staff education day that we do annually in May. Otherwise, everything is mostly holiday based. Actually, it is all holiday based.
And everybody should have that in their packet.
Yeah.
Is there any days on there that anybody sees an issue with? I like that you put the no items too on there. All right. All in favor of approving the 2025 closed dates, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, discuss and consider for approval authorization for Library Board President to sign the 2025 Memorandum of Understanding between the Menomonee Falls Library Friends and Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees as amended.
Motion to approve 6D as presented.
Seconded.
Motion to approve and seconded. Do I have any discussion? All in favor of approving the 2025 Memorandum of Understanding between Menomonee Falls Library Friends and the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next is the Library Board President's reports. So just kind of piggybacking, I know that the budget was approved by the village board. And also, myself and John had the opportunity to go to the trustee appreciation event last month. It was really nice getting to know Kifley and learning that she drives from Racine every single day to come here, and she's been here for so long. That's amazing. So I'm glad that we get to have talent like that here, and that they don't mind coming from so far away. So, and then also I kind of wanted to bring up possibly doing something as way of showing the library staff our appreciation for them, doing some kind of holiday thing, whether it be, I don't know, party or some type of event where we get to mingle.
Kind of similar to that breakfast
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
Why don't we do
So-
the same sort of thing? We have latitude here.
Yeah, I thought that worked out really well.
Yep.
So,
So I wanted to throw that out there and then kind of get some feedback on what you guys want to do and when.
Yeah, I thought that worked well.
Okay.
I'm happy to do whatever.
yeah.
All right.
I'm glad the pay increases were approved, and that's great. It's really good.
Do you want to just coordinate with me and maybe we
Yeah.
can come up with something?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And then we'll send you out an email and let you guys know, because we don't have the sunshine fund yet, right? Or the rain, whatever
No,
it is.
we don't.
Not until next year.
Right. We might be able to look at the budget and see if there's maybe something in there. We might be able to cover that.
Okay,
Can
I was gonna
I
say-
just make a suggestion, seeing as we have the special events outreach and fundraising committee, pull Matt in too, that would be part of what he does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that would be a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to
We
get
could
your
do it right
guys'
after the
feedback
first
if you were interested in
Mhm.
doing something like that for the
Definitely.
holidays, since I know we didn't do it last year, but I thought it would be good to do it this year,
I wouldn't do it December because there's less people.
so.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Just let us know.
Would you be open to like a New Year's after the first of the year? We're just thinking we might get more people that way with vacations and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was thinking like
Let's
a,
do it maybe
a
January.
holiday party
Yeah,
rather
January,
than-
New Year,
yeah,
New Year, same us, same thing.
Yeah, especially this
Yeah.
time of year, people are kind of booking up their
Yeah.
weekends from
Uh-huh.
That would give us more time to
days
prepare
and
too.
time off.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'll have the sunshine.
That's true. All right. So that's all I have. Next I got the director's report.
All right. So as you see, we're nearing the end of the year, which is always really exciting because you start getting to compare the real year to year in terms of statistics. So something that is interesting is that computer usage has gone way up, way up. Ellen said when she was walking out of the office before, all but one of the adult computers was in use. So as we are continuing to monitor those trends, I will definitely come back to you if we are seeing any needs for changes with the amount of computers upstairs. So far, so good. But if the usage continues to grow, we may need to pivot a little bit with that, but I'll definitely bring any of that your way. Card registrations have gone up as well as visitors. We're seeing more people in the building, which is really great. Our programs are seeing a great deal of participation as well. We have wait lists on a lot of our programs, so that's great because it's a chance for people to learn exciting things, get their resources, and also form a connection with the library.
Jackie, on that, just kudos to your marketing team.
Oh,
I mean, it was a little clunky in the beginning. I think they were just kind of sending a bunch of stuff out. Now it's not a ton, but it's like, oh, here's something, and we'll click on it in the email. So kudos to your marketing
awesome.
team.
I will send.
They're doing a
pass that
nice
along.
job.
I will
Yeah, and
pass
that's,
it
I
along.
mean, I would think that almost, directly relates to the increase in people coming and
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
no, definite kudos to your marketing
Oh,
team, because I get those
wonderful.
quite often.
I will definitely pass that along, thank you. Really, the only other thing I had is, spoiler alert, it's snow season, it started.
No.
Yeah, so with the unscheduled closings policy that we have, the final decision really lies with me, which can be difficult when the forecast is so iffy at times. So we look at road conditions, we look at the condition of the walkways and the parking lot, if it's actually been plowed by the time we're supposed to be open, staffing. My rule of thumb really is looking at what the school district is doing. If they're closed, we probably should be closed, so.
Interesting, I've received a lot of emails and text messages today.
Oh, really?
For 2 inches.
Are we gonna be, So I really look to the school district, because you have some like top secret connection with meteorologists that we don't get, as to guidance on those things. And then of course,
I don't know.
I do touch base with Nicole as well, and then of course alert all of you with what's happening. So I didn't check the Farmer's Almanac this year, but we have a copy upstairs. I think we have 2, so maybe I should read it and see, but hopefully we'll be good.
For all those listening, we're having school tomorrow. Just want to be really clear. There might be a little bit of snow, but by noon it'll all be melted away.
I was gonna say the ground's still pretty warm.
It actually started inside of my office. One of the secretaries was like, we have a group chat. And I'm like, yeah, everybody kind of does. And they kind of showed me, look at this one. Is there a snow day? Is there a snow day? And I'm like, but they're not the only ones talking about it. I mean, the first snow day, it's okay. It's joy. Let's go out and do something unexpected, but be safe. Be safe. We're having school tomorrow.
You mean don't go sledding down the
Yeah,
street, the middle of the street?
Schools will be open tomorrow.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no worries. It was partially in my report. I have a weather.
Oh,
report.
okay.
Excellent.
The only other thing I included in my report this month was the overview of the e-content offerings that I did email to you. It was a lot of information. I meant to make it brief, but I just couldn't stop. So I went through all
Sure.
about Libby, how much we're paying, how funding works, why it's important, and then same thing with Hoopla, and then some overall thoughts about the resources in general, including where it relates to the strategic plan, how it relates to the Waukesha County Library Services Plan or the standards, and then what the patron response to those has been. So food for thought on that. I know we talked about maybe having a meeting to go through it, but I wanted to at least give you some information to read through. And certainly if you'd like to discuss it further in the future, we can, but.
It's really a great report. I read it, I briefed it once, and when I started reading it again a few hours ago, I was like, well, that's a keeper. I'm going to pull that out, and just, it was really well done. Depth, a lot of information, good detail, and it's not something, I mean, I think people realize that there's digital content, but there's a lot of little different ways to come at it. So well done on that report.
Thank
I always
you.
love reading your stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Well, you just, like, you can tell that you spend a lot of time on it and really research it.
That's all I had then.
All right. So next would be the village trustees report, but Anna's not here. So next we have the trustee education.
So this one was about effective board meetings and trustee participation. I think you all are doing a great job. Really, the key ones were follow the law. So that was one of the headers. So yes, definitely making sure that the meetings are open to the public, that they're posted, that we go through the requirements to hold a closed session.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Talking about effective decision-making and ensuring that the group is making a decision and it's not just one person, I think that is really, really important, and that's the beauty of a board, right? Is that you get all of the different opinions, you get the different input, the backgrounds and experiences, so making sure that every decision that is made at a board level is really made as a group. Even if there are disagreements, there can be at least consensus. That's so important. Talking about making sure that we have the minutes and that we have all of that taken care of. And I wanted to point you back to a presentation that the village attorney gave to us, gosh, is it coming up a year ago? Is it a year ago?
Almost, yeah.
I do have his information, his PowerPoint, and then his notes in the training document that you have, that you all have a link to. So if you ever want a refresher on that, all of that is in that training document. And that's all I had on that one.
The only thing I was wondering if you could just give us a little synopsis, since I was, the only thing that you're able to be excused from are closed sessions. So when would we be inclined to use closed sessions for the library board?
So there are a few legal reasons that you can go into closed session. Some of them rarely pertain to libraries, such as considering buying property, things like that we don't do very often. If you are looking, another reason is if you are consulting with an attorney about legal matters and kind of making a plan of action, you're allowed to go into closed session for that. Another one is if you are considering like a performance review. So when you do my performance review, you go into closed session, I leave the room, then I come back in and we have a conversation. That's not open to the public. There are also some other personnel reasons why you may go into a closed session. If you're considering medical, disciplinary, or other matters of personnel that if it was to be public, it could cause harm to that person, then you can go into closed session for that. And really, I think the only time, at least in recent years, we've gone into closed session was for like the employee review or meeting with the library director.
Thank you.
Can't think of it anymore that we've done. We certainly haven't bought land or done anything like that. So there are statutes that explain exactly why you can go into closed session. So it is very, very particular. And there's a very particular way that you have to word it on the agenda. So you have to say why, and then you also have to give a little bit of a description why. So not only the legal component there, the statute reason why, but a little bit about what exactly is happening in the closed session. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Good start.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm the question guy this year, so
That's
that's
okay.
I get to ask lots.
That's okay. I remember, I was there before. So next we have the Menomonee Falls School District report.
Yeah, we have some great news. Actually, it was just made public yesterday. My next taping with John McCurr, it'll be out, but it's public now. The district report cards are out, and we exceeded expectations, which is the second highest rating. The highest rating significantly exceeds expectations, which is very high. But so we're excited about having great students and great staff and a great community. Obviously, there's always work to do to continuous improvement process, but those reports were all public yesterday, so there'll be something going out with all of that. So, and that was all done putting new curriculum in, $1.2 million of new English curriculum, math curriculum. So it's even more impressive in that regard as well, because we were in that transitional phase last year with a lot of new curriculums being developed. So we're all excited about that, and going forward, looking at there's always places to improve, and there's always things to improve with every district. So that's something that we're working on now, and there'll be a report on that in the first December board meeting. Inclement weather. I did get some information out to parents and some newsletters about the protocols for inclement weather. We will have school tomorrow. There will be a little snow. I think I see a little bit out there. But this is Wisconsin, right? So we're good. We can handle that. A little bit of snow. But it'll be raining by tomorrow or tonight or tomorrow night. We were excited about our Veterans Day assembly. It went really well. So thank you to all veterans out there. It was a wonderful event. So we have schools, we're going to try to make it bigger every year, but it was just wonderful. So thanks for all involved. I think we had maybe, 30 or so veterans there, any number of different eras. And we took it kind of a step further this year and had families of veterans, stand up and be recognized. And that was really kind of a cool moment, because a lot of us that have children that serve or whatever, it's something that way too. But you had to be there. It's all recorded. That was a wonderful event. Community center expansion and Riverside expansion it's been through final approval at the same village meeting the other night. So that is going out to bid within the next few weeks. So we're excited about that. I know I've mentioned that a few times, but that'll be a lot more real once ground is broke, probably in April. The expansion for those with students at Riverside, the expansion and update of Riverside to help with the space issues will be completed by the next school year. So that part, it'll be a phasing process. Yes, we're building 18,000 additional square feet approximately onto the community center, and then shifting Riverside space over. We'll have that remodel and space expansion, moving the library. So we're actually moving the library in Riverside to a nice open window space. We're doing quite a bit of moving of different things. That'll all be ready by the next school year. So we're excited about that, but the whole project itself won't be done by about a year from the new year. So about a year from now, roughly. So we're excited about that. Also, for those that want to get out to these concerts coming up, I'm looking down at my sheet so I get the dates right. Band, orchestra, choir, Christmas, holiday concerts, New Year's concerts, December 11th, December 16th, December 19th, all at 7 o'clock. So the 11th, 16th, and 19th, all at 7 o'clock. Band, orchestra, choir, those are high school concerts, so they're big concerts. There were already some wonderful concerts. I was at both. 612 strings in the community and 612 band, 612, all the band students, 612, 6 through 12th grade. So they were really outstanding events. You know, one was held at North, the other one at the high school. And last thing, there's several different student blood drives in this season, and Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the New Year's season. One of them is run by our Healthcare Academy at the high school. That is the 5th. So any community member on December 5th that would like to be involved in that blood drive, all that information is online. And there's another one with 2 high school students who are doing it over the break. So they're taking time over their break on the 28th of December to do another blood drive. A lot of need over the holidays and that sort of thing. So a lot of our students, these are all student events. So it's really nice. It's awesome. It's just amazing that they're just getting out and doing these sorts of things, especially with the blood drive, but all these other events as well. So exciting times in the district. So we're pushing forward.
Cool.
Congratulations on the building stuff
Yeah.
and the expansion and approval of that.
Yeah, we're excited for Riverside, but also for the community at large.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a need at Riverside for those that have students at Riverside. There's definitely, they're kind of packed in there, right? And more students live on the south side of the district of the falls, so, and that's why the overcrowding at Riverside. So we're able to fix that and adjust that. So we're excited to be able to do that quickly. Take a little bit longer, another 6 months to finish the expansion of the community center, but it is adding a gym to the community. So that project is adding a gym to the community, plus all the space for the community center is going to be on one level instead of currently it's 2 levels.
Mhm.
So the Riverside is taking over that lower level.
Oh, nice.
But then
Exciting.
they're not going to lose any space. We're going to expand out and make sure they have full one level space. So,
That's terrific.
yeah.
I'm very excited about the walking track.
And the walk
That's
at
so
the end.
cool.
And pickleball
Yes, that's
inside.
it,
Yeah.
Pickleball inside during the day and the indoor walking track. Thank you very much.
Love
Yes.
that, yep.
That was a must-have in our design and architectural designs.
Us seniors appreciate that.
All right, thank you. So next we have the Menomonee Falls Friends report.
They are working hard for the library. I have a lot of fun things to report. So let's start with, they brought in donations last month of over $2,200. They had their chocolate factory fundraiser. I don't know if I reported on this last time, but they raised $500 with the chocolate factory fundraiser. We've also been doing the bonfire sales, which include all our t-shirts and all the merch, as my son would say, for the library and library friends. And we started that back in May, so we brought in $263.23 with that. We had our election day bake sale, which I have to tell you I worked and was great fun. The Friends sponsored that and brought in almost $450, so that was very, very good too. Addressing what Jackie said about her meeting with Matt, I think the Friends are very excited about the opportunity to collaborate with the board and do good things with regards to fundraising. So that will be an exciting thing coming up next year. Those are highlights.
All right, thank you. Next meeting will be Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, and we are adjourned.
Oh, wait, can I say one more thing?
Oh, yep, sorry.
Save the date. Another collaboration that we're doing with Chocolate Falls. This will be on Saturday, January 18th. I gave you flyers about this. So Dawn is the owner of Chocolate Falls, and on that day, a Saturday, 30% of all sales will directly benefit the Menomonee Falls Library Friends. If you've not been in the Chocolate Falls, it's a great, great store. And she is just, there are some exclusions, but she is just so generous to do an all-day sale, 30% we benefit. You don't have to show a piece of paper, anything. You just come in and buy, and she's going to be set up for Valentine's Day. It should be great, great fun. So save the date, January 18th, 10 to 5.
All right. Now we're
Thank you, sorry
adjourned.
about that.